Alex Sterling stood on the balcony of his penthouse apartment, looking down at the busy streets of Manhattan. At 28 years old, he owned 3 luxury cars, a yacht, and more money than most people could spend in 10 lifetimes. His father had built a tech empire, and Alex was the golden boy who would inherit it all. But tonight Alex felt bored. He had everything money could buy, yet something was missing. Maybe it was the thrill of a real challenge. His phone buzzed with a text from his best friend Tyler. "Party at the club tonight." The usual crowd. Alex sighed and grabbed his keys. Another night with the same rich friends, talking about the same expensive toys and meaningless adventures. But what else was there to do? An hour later, Alex walked into the exclusive Platinum Club, where membership cost more than most people's yearly salary. The place was packed with young millionaires and billionaires all trying to outdo each other with stories of their latest purchases. "Alex," Tyler waved him over to their usual VIP section. "You're just in time. We're talking about Kevin's new private jet." Alex slumped into the leather chair and ordered his usual expensive whiskey. Around the table sat his childhood friends, all wealthy, all spoiled, all incredibly bored with their perfect lives. "I'm telling you," Kevin said, loosening his designer tie, "money really can buy happiness. I felt amazing flying over the Alps in my new Gulfstream. Money can buy anything," Alex added, taking a sip of his drink. "Happiness, respect, love, you name it." Tyler laughed and shook his head. "Come on, Alex, you can't seriously believe money can buy love." "Of course it can," Alex replied confidently. "Look around this room. Every woman here is with a rich guy. You think they'd be interested if we were broke?" "That's different," Tyler argued. "Those are gold diggers. I'm talking about real love, the kind where someone cares about you for who you are, not what you have." The other guys at the table started to pay attention. This was getting interesting. "You're living in a fairy tale," Alex said with a smirk. "Real love doesn't exist. People always want something: money, status, security. Take away the cash and see how quickly love disappears." Tyler leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "You really believe that?" "Absolutely." "Prove it," Alex raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I mean, put your money where your mouth is," Tyler said. "If you're so sure that love is just about money, then prove you can make someone fall in love with you without them knowing how rich you are." The table went quiet. Everyone was listening now. "You want me to date someone poor?" Alex asked. "Not just date," Tyler grinned. "Marry. Find someone who's really struggling financially. Someone who works minimum wage jobs, someone who has never heard of your family's company. Make them fall in love with you and marry you, but they can't know who you really are." Alex felt his competitive spirit kick in. "What's the catch?" "You have to stay married for 1 full year. And I mean really married, living together, acting like a real couple. If you can do it, I'll pay you $10 million and help fund that new business you've been talking about." "And if I can't?" Tyler's smile widened. "You donate $50 million to charity and step down from your father's company." The other guys whistled. This was a serious bet. Alex didn't hesitate. "You're on." They shook hands, and Alex felt excited for the first time in months. Finally, a real challenge. How hard could it be to make some poor girl fall for him? Over the next few days, Alex started planning. He needed to find the perfect target. Someone genuinely poor, hardworking, and completely unaware of his real identity. He also needed to create a believable fake life. Alex rented a small, modest apartment in Queens under a fake name. He bought cheap clothes from discount stores and practiced talking like someone who had never had money. He even got a fake ID with the name Alex Santos. Then he started his search. He visited coffee shops, small restaurants, and local stores looking for the right woman. She had to be attractive enough that people would believe he'd fallen for her, but also genuinely struggling financially. After a week of searching, Alex found himself in a small family diner in Queens. The place was nothing special. Old vinyl booths, a scratched counter, and the smell of grease in the air. But the food was cheap, and it seemed like the kind of place where poor people would work. That's when he saw her. Elena Rodriguez was wiping down tables when Alex walked in. She looked tired but smiled warmly at every customer. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and she wore the diner's uniform, a blue dress with a white apron. "Good evening," she said when Alex sat down at the counter. "What can I get you?" Alex ordered coffee and a burger, watching Elena as she worked. She moved efficiently between tables, always polite and friendly despite clearly being exhausted. When an elderly customer struggled to count change for his bill, Elena quietly covered the difference from her own tip money. Perfect, Alex thought. She was kind, hardworking, and obviously struggling financially. Plus, she was beautiful in a natural way that would make the bet believable. Long day? Alex asked when Elena refilled his coffee. She smiled tiredly. 2 jobs will do that to you. But I can't complain, at least I have work. 2 jobs? That's rough. I work here during the day and study nursing at night, Elena explained. Someday I'll have a better life, but for now, this pays the bills. Alex felt a strange flutter in his chest. He pushed it aside. This was just business. Over the next few weeks, Alex became a regular at the diner. He came in every few days, always sitting at the counter, always asking for Elena to serve him. He learned that she sent money home to help her sick mother, that she dreamed of becoming a nurse to help people, and that despite working 16-hour days, she never complained. Elena started to look forward to Alex's visits. He was different from her usual customers, polite, interested in her life, and kind. He never made her feel bad about her situation or treated her like she was beneath him. You know, Elena said one evening as she cleaned glasses, you're not like most guys who come in here. What do you mean? Alex asked, sipping his coffee. Most people either ignore me or act like I should be grateful they're here. You actually talk to me like I'm a real person. Alex felt that strange flutter again. You are a real person. A pretty amazing one, actually. Elena blushed and looked away. You're just being nice. But Alex realized he wasn't just being nice. Something about Elena's genuine kindness and determination was affecting him in ways he hadn't expected. She worked harder than anyone he knew, yet she remained optimistic and caring. This was supposed to be simple. Charm a poor girl, marry her, win the bet. But as Alex sat in that small diner, watching Elena laugh with an elderly regular customer, he began to wonder if maybe this challenge would be more complicated than he'd thought. The bet was just beginning, but Alex was already discovering that Elena Rodriguez was nothing like the gold diggers he was used to. She was real, honest, and completely unimpressed by the usual things that attracted women to him. For the first time in his privileged life, Alex would have to win someone over with just his personality. And surprisingly, that both terrified and excited him. 3 weeks after Alex started visiting the diner regularly, he knew it was time to move to the next phase of his plan. He had been studying Elena's schedule, her habits, and her personality. Now he needed to become more than just a friendly customer. Alex practiced his fake backstory in the mirror every morning. He was Alex Santos, a freelance graphic designer who barely made enough money to pay rent. He lived paycheck to paycheck just like Elena. He had to make this believable. One rainy Thursday evening, Alex walked into the diner looking frustrated and soaked from the rain. Rough day? Elena asked as she handed him a towel. My laptop crashed right before a big deadline. Alex lied smoothly. I might lose this client and I really need the money. Elena's face filled with genuine concern. Oh no, is there anything you can do to fix it? Alex shrugged. I'll have to take it to a repair shop tomorrow, but I'm not sure I can afford it right now. Without hesitation, Elena reached into her apron pocket and pulled out a small stack of crumpled bills. Here, take this. It's not much, but maybe it'll help with the repair. Alex stared at the money in shock. It was probably her tip money from the entire day, maybe $40 or $50. For Elena, this was significant money. For Alex, it was what he spent on a single drink at his club. I can't take your money, Alex said, genuinely touched by her gesture. Please, Elena insisted. We have to help each other, right? When you get back on your feet, you can pay me back. Alex reluctantly took the money, feeling something he'd never experienced before, guilt mixed with admiration. Elena had just offered her hard-earned tips to help someone she barely knew. In his world, people only helped others when they wanted something in return. From that moment, their relationship changed. Elena started checking on Alex more often, asking about his work and sharing stories about her own struggles. Alex found himself actually enjoying these conversations, which surprised him completely. You know what I love about nursing school? Elena said one evening as she refilled his coffee. Every day I learn something new about helping people. Yesterday we practiced taking blood pressure and I was so nervous I almost fainted. Alex laughed. But you stuck with it? Of course. My instructor says I have gentle hands. She thinks I'll be good at pediatric nursing, working with kids. Elena's eyes lit up when she talked about her dreams. Alex had never met anyone so passionate about helping others. In his world, people chose careers based on money and status. Elena chose hers because she genuinely wanted to make a difference. As the weeks passed, Alex started visiting the diner almost every day. He told Elena he came there to work on his laptop because the Wi-Fi was free and the coffee was good. Really, he just wanted to see her. Their friendship grew slowly and naturally. Elena would sit with Alex during her breaks, sharing stories about her family, her dreams, and her fears. Alex made up stories about his fake life, but he found himself sharing real thoughts and feelings he'd never told anyone. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm fooling myself," Elena said one quiet evening. "Maybe I'm not smart enough to become a nurse. Maybe I should just accept that this is my life." "Don't say that," Alex replied firmly. "You're one of the smartest people I know, and the kindest. Any hospital would be lucky to have you," Elena smiled. "You really think so?" "I know so." For the first time in his life, Alex was getting to know someone who liked him for who he was, or at least who he was pretending to be. Elena didn't care about expensive cars or designer clothes. She cared about his thoughts, his dreams, and his character. 2 months into their friendship, Alex realized something that terrified him. He was actually falling for Elena. This wasn't supposed to happen. She was supposed to be a target, a way to win a bet. But somehow she had become the most important part of his day. Elena was falling for him too, though she tried to hide it. She found herself looking forward to Alex's visits, saving the best pieces of pie for him and staying late just to talk. He was different from any guy she'd ever met, thoughtful, supportive, and genuinely interested in her dreams. One evening, Elena's coworker Rosa pulled her aside during her break. "Girl, you like him?" Rosa said with a knowing smile. "Who?" Elena tried to play innocent. "Alex, the cute guy who comes in here every day and only wants you to serve him." "And don't think I haven't noticed how you light up when he walks in." Elena blushed. "It's not like that. We're just friends." "Friends don't look at each other the way you two do," Rosa laughed. "When are you going to admit you have feelings for him?" Elena sighed. "Even if I did, what's the point? We're both broke. We're both struggling just to survive. What kind of future could we have together?" "The best kind," Rosa said seriously. "Love doesn't need money, honey. It needs 2 people who care about each other." That weekend, Alex asked Elena if she wanted to go for a walk in the park after her shift. It wasn't officially a date, but it felt like one. They walked slowly through the quiet paths, talking about everything and nothing. When it started to get cold, Alex gave Elena his jacket, a cheap one he'd bought specifically for his fake identity. But the gesture was real. "Alex," Elena said softly as they sat on a bench watching the sunset. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Do you ever feel like you're meant for something more than this? Like maybe someday things will be different?" Alex looked at her beautiful face in the golden light and felt his heart skip. "Every day, especially lately." "Me too," she whispered. They kissed under the streetlights, and Alex felt something he'd never experienced before. Pure, genuine love that had nothing to do with money or status or winning a bet. Over the next month, they became inseparable. Alex would pick Elena up after her nursing classes, walking her home through the quiet streets. They would share cheap meals and talk for hours about their dreams for the future. Alex was amazed by how happy he felt with so little. In his real life, he needed expensive entertainment and constant stimulation to feel anything. With Elena, just sitting on her fire escape eating takeout Chinese food felt like the most perfect evening he'd ever had. Elena introduced Alex to her family during Sunday dinner at her aunt's apartment. They welcomed him with open arms despite his obvious lack of money. Elena's cousin David worked construction, her Aunt Carmen was a house cleaner, and her teenage nephew Luis was studying to be the first in their family to go to college. "Elena talks about you all the time," Carmen told Alex while they washed dishes together. "She really cares about you." "I care about her too," Alex replied, and he meant it completely. "Good," Carmen said firmly. "She's been through enough heartbreak. She deserves someone who will treat her right." Alex felt the weight of her words. He was living a lie, but his feelings for Elena were the most real thing he'd ever experienced. 3 months after their first kiss, Alex knew he had to make his next move. According to the bet, he needed to marry Elena within 6 months. But now, the thought of proposing felt less like completing a challenge and more like the most important moment of his life. Alex spent weeks planning the perfect proposal. Not expensive, but meaningful. He saved up money from his fake graphic design jobs and bought a simple diamond ring from a small jewelry store in Queens. On a crisp October evening, Alex took Elena to the same park where they'd had their first kiss. As they sat on their favorite bench, he got down on one knee. "Elena Rodriguez," he said, his heart pounding with real nervousness. "Will you marry me?" Through happy tears, Elena said yes. As he slipped the ring onto her finger, Alex realized that winning the bet had become the least important thing in his world. He just wanted to make Elena happy forever. Elena and Alex got married on a beautiful Saturday morning in December at the Queens courthouse. Elena wore a simple white dress she'd found at a thrift store, and Alex wore the nicest suit from his fake wardrobe. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect. Elena's family filled the small ceremony room with love and laughter. Her Aunt Carmen cried happy tears, and her cousin David slapped Alex on the back, welcoming him officially to the family. Alex felt overwhelmed by their warmth and acceptance. "I can't believe we're actually married," Elena whispered as they signed the papers. "Me neither," Alex replied, and he meant it in ways she couldn't imagine. After the ceremony, they had a small celebration at Carmen's apartment. The whole family had pitched in to make Elena's favorite foods, and someone had even bought a small wedding cake from the local bakery. Alex watched Elena laugh with her relatives and felt his chest tighten with an emotion he couldn't name. This was real love, real family, real happiness, and it had nothing to do with money. But as the celebration ended and reality set in, Alex faced his biggest challenge yet. He was now living a double life as a married man, and it was going to be much harder to maintain his deception. Elena wanted them to find a small apartment together, but Alex convinced her to move into his fake place in Queens. He told her he'd already paid the rent for several months in advance, which explained why it was nicer than what they should have been able to afford together. Every morning became a careful dance of lies. Alex would wake up early, kiss Elena goodbye as she left for the diner, then quickly change into expensive clothes and drive his real car to handle his business affairs. He conducted meetings at fancy hotels and restaurants, always making sure he was back in Queens before Elena returned home. "How was work today?" Elena would ask each evening, and Alex would make up stories about difficult clients and tight deadlines. "This graphic design project is killing me," he'd say, rubbing his temples dramatically. "The client keeps changing their mind about everything." Elena would massage his shoulders and make him tea, worried about the stress he seemed to be under. Her kindness made Alex feel terrible about lying to her. The hardest part was watching Elena struggle financially, while he had millions sitting in bank accounts she didn't know existed. Elena worked double shifts at the diner and studied late into the night for her nursing classes. She was always tired, always worried about money, always sacrificing her own needs for others. One evening, Alex came home to find Elena crying over a pile of bills spread across their small kitchen table. "What's wrong?" he asked, sitting beside her. "My mom needs surgery," Elena said through her tears. "The doctors say it's not urgent, but if we wait too long, it could get worse. The problem is it costs $8,000, and even with insurance, we'd have to pay half." Alex's heart broke watching his wife cry over money that meant nothing to him. In his real life, $8,000 was what he spent on a single dinner at an expensive restaurant. "We'll figure it out," he said, holding her close. "Maybe I can pick up some extra freelance work. Alex, we can barely pay our own bills. How can we come up with $4,000? That night, Alex lay awake staring at the ceiling while Elena slept beside him. He could easily solve this problem with a single phone call to his bank. But how could he explain suddenly having thousands of dollars without revealing who he really was? The next day, Alex came up with a plan. He created fake invoices for imaginary graphic design projects and told Elena he'd landed several big clients. Over the next few weeks, he gradually earned enough money to help with her mother's surgery. "I can't believe how lucky we got with these new clients," Elena said, hugging him tightly when he handed her the check. "You're amazing, Alex." The guilt was eating Alex alive, but seeing Elena's relief made it worth it. As winter turned to spring, their marriage settled into a comfortable routine. Elena was doing well in nursing school, and X was getting better at managing his double life. But the constant lying was exhausting him in ways he'd never expected. He found himself actually preferring his fake life to his real one. Coming home to Elena, helping her study for exams, cooking simple meals together. It was more satisfying than any expensive party or business deal he'd ever experienced. One Saturday morning in April, Alex woke up to find Elena in the bathroom looking pale and confused. "I think I might be sick," she said weakly. "I've been feeling nauseous for the past few days." Alex felt worried. "Maybe you should see a doctor." Elena shook her head. "We can't afford a doctor visit right now. It's probably just stress from finals." But when the nausea continued for another week, Elena finally went to a free clinic in their neighborhood. Alex paced nervously in their apartment until she returned, a strange expression on her face. "Alex," she said quietly, sitting down on their couch, "I have something to tell you." "What is it? Are you okay?" Elena looked up at him with tears in her eyes, but this time they were happy tears. "I'm pregnant." Alex felt the world stop spinning. "Pregnant?" "The doctor says I'm about 6 weeks along." Elena's voice was filled with wonder. "Alex, we're going to have a baby." Alex sat down heavily beside her, his mind racing. A baby. They were going to have a child together. This changed everything. "Are you happy?" Elena asked nervously when Alex didn't respond immediately. "Yes," Alex said, and he realized he meant it completely. "I'm very happy. I'm just surprised." Elena laughed and threw her arms around him. "I know it's not the best timing. We don't have much money and I'm still in school, but we'll figure it out. Families always do." As Elena talked excitedly about baby names and nursery ideas, Alex felt panic rising in his chest. How could he bring a child into this lie? How could he continue deceiving Elena when they were about to become parents? But underneath the panic was something else, genuine joy. He was going to be a father. Elena was going to be the mother of his child. Despite everything, this felt like the most wonderful thing that had ever happened to him. Over the next few weeks, Alex watched Elena glow with happiness. She read pregnancy books during her breaks at the diner and started planning how they would rearrange their small apartment to make room for a baby. "We'll need to start saving for baby things," Elena said one evening as they looked at cribs online. "Maybe I can pick up extra shifts at the diner." "No," Alex said firmly. "You need to take care of yourself and the baby. I'll figure out how to make more money." Alex began making anonymous donations to prenatal programs at the clinic where Elena got her checkups. He arranged for scholarships to cover her medical expenses. He even had baby supplies mysteriously delivered to their apartment with notes saying they were gifts from Elena's nursing school classmates. "We're so lucky," Elena said, arranging the baby clothes someone had supposedly donated. "Everyone has been so generous." Alex smiled and nodded, but inside he was struggling more than ever. He loved Elena and their unborn child more than anything in the world, but he was living the biggest lie of his life. Every day the deception became harder to maintain. The bet with Tyler seemed like a lifetime ago. Alex had originally planned to divorce Elena after a year and return to his real life. But now, looking at his wife reading pregnancy books and planning their future together, Alex knew he never wanted to be anywhere else. The problem was, he still didn't know how to tell her the truth without losing everything that mattered to him. As Elena fell asleep in his arms each night, Alex stared at the ceiling and wondered how much longer he could keep living this double life. The baby was coming in 6 months, and Alex knew that sooner or later, the truth would come out. He just hoped that when it did, Elena would be able to forgive him. Elena was now 7 months pregnant, and Alex was running out of time. The bet with Tyler was supposed to end in just 2 months, but Alex no longer cared about winning or losing. He cared about his wife and unborn child, and he was terrified of losing them. Maintaining his double life had become almost impossible. Elena was always home now since she'd reduced her hours at the diner on doctor's orders. This meant Alex had fewer opportunities to slip away and handle his real business. "You seem stressed lately," Elena said one evening as they sat on the couch. She was folding tiny baby clothes while Alex pretended to work on his laptop. "Is everything okay with your graphic design work?" "Just a difficult client," Alex lied, closing his laptop quickly. He'd actually been managing a major business deal worth millions, but he couldn't tell Elena that. Elena reached over and rubbed his shoulder. "You work so hard for us. I'm proud of you." Alex felt his stomach twist with guilt. If only she knew the truth. The next morning, Elena's friend Rosa called with exciting news. Rosa worked part-time cleaning rooms at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Manhattan, and she'd seen something that confused her. "Elena, you'll never believe what happened yesterday," Rosa said over the phone. "I was cleaning the penthouse suite, and I swear I saw your husband in the lobby." Elena laughed. "That's impossible. Alex can't afford to even walk through the lobby of a place like that. I know it sounds crazy, but this guy looked exactly like Alex. Same face, same height, everything. But he was wearing an expensive suit and talking to some business people. They were calling him Mr. Sterling." Elena felt a strange chill run down her spine. "Sterling? That's not Alex's last name." "I know. That's why I thought it was so weird. Maybe he just has a twin brother or something." After Rosa hung up, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She started paying closer attention to Alex's behavior, and she began noticing things that didn't make sense. Why did Alex always shower immediately when he came home from work? Why did he sometimes smell like expensive cologne instead of the cheap stuff he claimed to use? And how did he always seem to have money for Elena's medical bills, even though his graphic design business was supposedly struggling? One afternoon, while Alex was out running errands, Elena decided to look through his things. She felt guilty for snooping, but her instincts were telling her something wasn't right. In the back of Alex's closet, behind his cheap clothes, Elena found something that made her heart stop. It was an expensive suit, the kind that cost more than she made in 6 months. There was also a receipt from a luxury car rental company and a business card with the name Alexander Sterling printed on it. Elena sat on their bed, staring at the business card with shaking hands. Sterling, the same name Rosa had heard at the hotel. That evening, when Alex came home, Elena was waiting for him at the kitchen table. The business card was sitting in front of her. "Who is Alexander Sterling?" she asked quietly. Alex froze in the doorway. His face went completely white as he saw the card on the table. "Elena, I can explain." "Can you?" Elena's voice was surprisingly calm, but Alex could see the hurt in her eyes. "Because I'm really confused right now. My friend saw someone who looked exactly like you at a 5-star hotel, wearing expensive clothes and using a different name. And now I find this business card hidden in your closet." Alex sat down across from her, his hands shaking. "It's complicated. Try me." Alex opened his mouth to tell her everything, but before he could speak, there was a loud knock at their door. Elena and Alex looked at each other in confusion. They weren't expecting anyone. Alex opened the door to find Tyler standing there, clearly drunk and angry. "There you are," Tyler said loudly, pushing past Alex into the apartment. "Do you have any idea how hard you've been to find? I've been calling you for weeks." Elena stood up from the table, her pregnant belly making the movement awkward. "Who is this?" she asked Alex. Tyler looked around the small apartment and laughed. "Wow, Alex, you really went all out with this dump. I have to admit, you had me worried for a while there." "Tyler, you need to leave," Alex said urgently, but Tyler ignored him. "Leave? Are you kidding me? The bet ends in 2 months, and I want to make sure you're still planning to collect your winnings." Tyler turned to Elena with a cruel smile. "You must be the lucky wife. Congratulations on winning the lottery, sweetheart." Elena looked confused. "What lottery? What bet?" Alex felt his world crashing down around him. "Tyler, stop talking." But Tyler was too drunk and too angry to stop. "Oh, she doesn't know. This is even better than I thought." He turned back to Elena. "Your husband here made a bet with me about a year ago. He said he could make any poor girl fall in love with him and marry him, even if she didn't know he was rich. You were the perfect target, broke, desperate, and naive enough to fall for his act." Elena's face went completely white. "What are you talking about?" "Alex Sterling, yeah, that's his real name, is worth about $500 million. His family owns Sterling Tech. You've probably heard of them." Tyler laughed cruelly. The whole poor struggling graphic designer thing was just an act. "If he stays married to you for a full year, I owe him $10 million. Elena looked at Alex, her eyes filling with tears. "Tell me he's lying." Alex couldn't speak. He just stood there, watching the woman he loved realize that their entire relationship had been built on lies. "The pregnancy wasn't part of the plan, though," Tyler continued. "That must have been a surprise. But hey, at least now he's got extra incentive to stick around for a few more months." "Get out," Elena whispered. "What?" Tyler. "Sked, I said get out," Elena screamed, her voice breaking with emotion. Tyler shrugged and headed for the door. Just remember, Alex, 2 more months and you win. Don't let your feelings mess this up now. After Tyler left, Elena and Alex stood in their small apartment in complete silence. Elena was crying, her hands protecting her pregnant belly. Is it true? She finally asked. Alex nodded, unable to look at her. Yes, all of it? The money, the bet, everything? Yes. Elena sat down heavily on their couch, her whole body shaking. So our entire relationship has been a lie. No, Alex said desperately, moving toward her. Elena, I know how this looks, but my feelings for you are real. I love you. I love our baby. Don't, Elena said, holding up her hand to stop him. Don't you dare say you love me. You made me into a joke. You and your rich friends sat around laughing about how easy it would be to trick some poor stupid girl into falling for you. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. Elena stood up, her eyes flashing with anger. Do you have any idea how humiliated I feel right now? I thought you understood me. I thought you cared about my dreams, my struggles, my family. But it was all just entertainment for you. Alex felt tears running down his face. Elena, please let me explain. Explain what? How you felt sorry for the poor girl working at the diner. How you thought it would be fun to play house with someone beneath your social class. Elena's voice was getting louder. I trusted you with everything. I shared my deepest fears and dreams with you. I let you into my family. And the whole time you were just counting down the days until you could collect your prize money and go back to your real life. That's not true anymore, Alex said desperately. Yes, that's how it started, but I fell in love with you. Really genuinely in love. The bet doesn't matter to me anymore. Elena stared at him with disgust. How can I believe anything you say? You've been lying to me for almost a year about everything. Your name, your job, your life, your money. You watched me work double shifts while you had millions in the bank. You let me worry about paying for my mother's surgery while you could have solved it with pocket change. Alex realized that Elena was right. There was nothing he could say that would fix this. I want you to leave, Elena said quietly. Elena, I want you to leave right now. Go back to your real life, your real apartment, your real friends. Go collect your $10 million. You won. I don't want the money. I want you and our baby. Elena laughed bitterly through her tears. Our baby? This baby was never part of your plan. We're just a complication in your little game. Alex tried to reach for her, but Elena stepped away. If you ever actually cared about me, you'll leave me alone, Elena said. I never want to see you again. With that, Elena walked into their bedroom and slammed the door. Alex stood in the living room listening to her cry, knowing he had lost the most important thing in his life. An hour later, Alex packed his cheap clothes and left the apartment. As he drove away in his real car toward his real penthouse, he realized that winning the bet felt like the biggest loss of his life. Alex sat in his penthouse apartment, staring out at the same city view that had once made him feel powerful. Now it just made him feel empty. 3 weeks had passed since Elena threw him out, and he felt like he was drowning in regret. His phone buzzed constantly with messages from Tyler and other friends, wanting to celebrate his victory. He ignored them all. The bet that had once seemed so important now felt like the stupidest thing he'd ever done. Alex's assistant knocked on his office door. Mr. Sterling? Tyler Johnson is here to see you. Tyler walked in with a huge grin, carrying a bottle of expensive champagne. Congratulations, man. You actually did it. I brought the check for $10 million. Alex looked at the check and felt sick. I don't want it. What do you mean you don't want it? This is what we agreed on. The bet is off, Alex said quietly. Keep your money, Tyler laughed. Are you kidding me? You won fair and square. You married the poor girl you stayed married for almost a year. You earned this money? I said I don't want it, Alex shouted, surprising both Tyler and himself.
That woman is pregnant with my child.
She's not a bet or a game or a way to prove a point. She's the best person I've ever known, and I destroyed her life for your stupid money. Tyler stared at Alex like he'd lost his mind. Dude, you're talking crazy. It's just some girl from a diner. There are plenty more where she came from. Get out, Alex said coldly. Get out of my office and don't come back. After Tyler left, Alex sat alone and thought about what he needed to do. He had to find a way to prove to Elena that his love was real, even if she never took him back. The first thing Alex did was call his lawyer. He wanted to set up a trust fund for Elena and the baby. but he knew she would never accept money directly from him. So he created an anonymous scholarship program for single mothers studying nursing. Elena qualified automatically, and the program would cover all her remaining school expenses and living costs. Next, Alex started volunteering at the free clinic where Elena got her prenatal care. He didn't tell anyone who he was. He just showed up every day to help however he could. He cleaned, organized supplies, and helped patients who couldn't afford their medical bills. The clinic director, Dr. Martinez, was amazed when anonymous donations started arriving to cover expenses for patients who couldn't pay. She had no idea the donations were coming from the quiet volunteer who mopped floors and sorted medications every morning. 2 months after their separation, Elena went into labor. Alex only knew because he had asked Dr. Martinez to call him when it happened. He sat in the hospital parking lot all night, wanting to be close but knowing he couldn't go inside. At 6:47 in the morning, Sofia Elena Santos was born. Elena had kept Alex's fake last name for the baby, not knowing what else to do. Alex cried in his car when Dr. Martinez texted him that both mother and baby were healthy. Elena's family rallied around her during those difficult first weeks. Her Aunt Carmen moved in to help with the baby, and her cousin David made sure Elena had everything she needed. They all asked about Alex, but Elena just said he was gone and refused to talk about it. One afternoon, while Elena was struggling to pay for baby formula, a nurse at the clinic told her she'd received a full scholarship from something called the Future Nurses Foundation. "I didn't apply for any scholarship," Elena said. "Confused. Someone nominated you," the nurse explained. "The foundation covers everything. Your remaining school costs, childcare while you study, even living expenses. It's specifically for single mothers in nursing programs." Elena felt suspicious. This was too convenient, too perfectly timed. But she needed the help desperately, and the foundation seemed legitimate when she researched it online. What Elena didn't know was that Alex was watching from a distance, making sure she and Sofia had everything they needed. He saw Elena walking to the clinic for checkups, carrying Sofia in a worn baby carrier. He saw her studying late into the night through her apartment window, determined to finish nursing school despite being a single mother. Alex also started working with youth programs in Elena's neighborhood. He funded after-school programs and tutoring services, always anonymously. He wanted to help the community that had welcomed him, even though it was all based on lies. 6 months after Sofia was born, Elena was working a shift at the clinic as part of her nursing program when she overheard 2 doctors talking. "That volunteer Alex has been amazing," one doctor said. "He's here every single day and he's funded so many of our programs. Patients love him, Alex." Elena's heart stopped. "Yeah, the guy who helps with everything. Quiet guy, works harder than anyone. He's been here for months now. Never asks for recognition, just helps wherever we need him." Elena felt confused. Could it be the same Alex, her Alex? That evening, Elena arrived at the clinic early for her shift and waited. Sure enough, she saw a familiar figure mopping floors in the hallway. It was Alex, but he looked different. Thinner, tired, wearing simple clothes that were actually cheap this time. Elena watched him work for 20 minutes. He helped an elderly patient fill out forms, cleaned up after a sick child, and restocked supplies. He moved quietly and efficiently, like someone who had been doing this job for months. "Alex," she said softly. He looked up and saw her, his face showing shock and something that looked like fear. "Elena, I didn't know you worked here. What are you doing here?" she asked. Alex set down his mop and wiped his hands nervously. "I volunteer here. I have been for 6 months. Why?" Alex looked down at his feet. "Because I wanted to help people the way you do. Because I wanted to understand what it really means to work for something that matters." Elena stared at him. "The scholarship I received. The Future Nurses Foundation. That was you, wasn't it?" Alex nodded. "I wanted to make sure you could finish school. You and Sofia deserve that future you dreamed about." "I can't accept money from you," Elena said. "It's not from me personally," Alex said quickly. "I sold most of my assets and created a real foundation. It helps dozens of single mothers, not just you. I just wanted to make sure something good came from all the money I inherited." Elena felt confused. This wasn't the same man who had lied to her for months. This Alex seemed genuine, humble even. "You've been working here for 6 months?" she asked. "Every day, Dr. Martinez can tell you." "I started the day after." He paused. "The day after I lost you. Elena's co-worker Rosa appeared beside them. Elena, you know Alex? He's the best volunteer we've ever had. Patients ask for him specifically. Mrs. Chen says he's the only one who can make her smile during chemo treatments. Elena looked at Alex with new eyes. Why didn't you tell me you were here? Because you asked me to leave you alone, Alex said simply. I just wanted to be close enough to help if you ever needed anything. I know I have no right to be in your life anymore. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the man she'd seen at the clinic, so different from the arrogant millionaire she'd discovered, but also different from the fake Alex who had courted her. This version seemed real in a way the others never had. Over the next few weeks, Elena found herself paying attention to Alex when their paths crossed at the clinic. She saw him stay late to comfort a scared child. She watched him use his own money to buy groceries for a homeless patient. She heard other staff members praise his dedication and kindness. One evening, Elena approached Dr. Martinez. The volunteer Alex, she said carefully. What do you know about him? Dr. Martinez smiled. He's wonderful. Been here every day for 8 months now. Never misses a shift. He's also funded our new pediatric wing and our program for uninsured patients. Very generous donor, but he insists on staying anonymous. Generous how? He's donated over $2 million this year alone. Says he wants to give back to the community. Most humble rich person I've ever met. Elena felt her world shift. Alex had donated millions to help people like her, people he'd never even met. This wasn't the behavior of someone playing a game. 2 weeks later, Elena was leaving the clinic late at night when she saw Alex sitting on a bench outside, holding an envelope. What's that? She asked, surprising herself by approaching him. Alex looked up, startled. Medical bills for the Johnson family. Their little boy needs surgery, but they can't afford it. And? Alex held up the envelope. Anonymous donation to cover the costs. I leave these for Dr. Martinez to find. Elena sat down beside him on the bench, keeping some distance between them. Why do you do this? Because you taught me what it means to care about others, Alex said quietly. Because I want to be the kind of person you thought I was when we first met. They sat in silence for a moment. I saw Sophia last week, Alex said softly. She's beautiful. She has your eyes, Elena's heart clenched. You saw her? I was walking by the park when you were there with Carmen. I didn't approach. I wanted to see her, to see you both were okay. Elena felt tears welling up. Alex, what you did to me was unforgivable, Alex finished. I know that. I'm not trying to win you back, Elena. I just want you to know that loving you changed me completely. You made me into a better person even after I lost you. Elena looked at this man who had broken her heart but who now seemed genuinely transformed. I finish nursing school next month, she said quietly. I know. You're going to be amazing. Elena turned to face him fully. I want you to know something. What we had before I knew the truth, that was real for me. All of it. It was real for me too, Alex said. The realest thing in my life. Elena stood up slowly. I have to go. As she walked away, Alex called after her softly. Elena, would you maybe let me meet Sophia someday? When you're ready? Elena stopped but didn't turn around. After a long moment, she said, maybe someday. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet. But it was hope. And for Alex, that was enough to keep becoming the man Elena had believed he could be.